And welcome to Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. I'm your host, Joshua Solomon. And JP is not with me tonight. He is out on a secret mission. He's rounding up all the communists and throwing them back over the state line into Massachusetts, where they belong. We'll get a full report from him next week. Until then, as always, Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades is sponsored by the Wilson Hill Pistol Club, the oldest sports shooting club in New Hampshire, located right here in Manchester at 1732 Lakeshore Road. We have a monthly membership meeting. It's the first Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. right after this show. That was last week, so you have to wait till next week. You can find us at wilsonhillpistol.org online. You can check our training schedule. You can contact us. We have open membership. We do not have a waiting list like other sports shooting clubs in this state. And you can find our latest training on the website and sign up for it. It is going to be this Saturday, the fundamentals and safety training for handgun safety training. So that's our entry-level handgun course. We recommend that everybody take it before you go out and you buy a firearm from a dealer who's just going to sell you whatever he can. So, okay. We're all done with that. Tonight, we have a returning guest, candidate for CD1, Hollie Noveletsky. How you doing, Hollie?
Very good. Nice to be back. Thank
Good,
you for
good,
having
good.
me.
We're coming up on it.
Yes.
We got a primary in a couple of
About
weeks.
3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Right down to the wire.
September 8th. Vote September 8th. Make sure you show up.
Yeah, you got to get out there and vote. I know it's traditionally Republicans don't show up for midterm elections, and also primaries are usually low voter turnout as well. But we have to get the word out there.
And it's the day after Labor Day, so I'm afraid it'll be low turnout.
Yeah, it will be, because everybody's going to have their 3-day weekend. They're going to be dragging their butts on their way to work on Tuesday morning, and the employers aren't going to like the idea that you're taking extra time off to go vote, et cetera, et cetera.
School
et cetera.
starts. And,
Oh, yeah, and schools, yeah.
It's going to be tough.
So
Show up and vote, please.
yeah, either get up early or go home late.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Well, if you're a Democrat, vote, vote, vote.
or as Gary used to say, vote early and vote often.
Yes.
All right. So how are we doing? You've been on a couple of times. We've been well, actually, we talked over a year ago.
Time flies when you're campaigning.
We've been on a couple of times. It feels like it hasn't been that long, but it's actually been over a year.
You haven't missed me?
No, I haven't. When we first started talking, this moment, the primary, seemed like it was way, way off there. It was over a year away when we first started talking. But now here we are. What's happened since then?
Once you hit summer, it just flies.
Yeah. How are we doing?
We're doing really well. We have had 3 polls, 2 of which I always claim. I don't know the third. I don't know the company that did the third one, but the third one has had us way ahead. But we have consistently been ahead in the polls, so that's really good. The grassroots have been fabulous and strong and supportive. I'm really pleased, and we've been working like a dog. Fundraising is good, so we're just going forward. We are leaving nothing on the table. We will outwork everyone, because I think everyone has a right to have a choice. And what more do you need than me, though, really? But you should have a choice, and you should show up and vote.
Absolutely. So we've talked a lot in the past. One of the big things about this midterm is first off, the empty seats that are out there. Mm-hmm. We got 3 seats that we're trying to grab here, and one that's been had a stranglehold by Pappas for what, 6 years, 8 years,
18. Yeah, 8.
And that's now open and up for grabs. So that's one important thing. We need to send at least one GOP rep or Senate we need representation in Washington.
We
absolutely have to have.
like
We
30
gotta,
some odd percent Republican, 30% Democrat, and 40% independent. And yet we have no across the board representation.
right, we don't have any representation, so that's important. The other thing that's important in this midterm is the economy and what's going on here in New Hampshire. We have housing costs, food, gas,
Healthcare.
There's some big problems here that have been left behind by the previous administration that have affected New Hampshire, as well as other more local stuff. I don't know how much of the local stuff you're getting into, but a big thing with the local stuff is our property taxes.
Property taxes.
But there's a lot that can be influenced over that from Washington as well.
Right.
So tell us about the economy and the things we need to get done here in New Hampshire.
Right. So the economy really started to be affected, I'd say, in the mid-90s. With NAFTA, we started hollowing out our manufacturing base, hollowing out blue-collar jobs.
Who was in charge in the mid-90s when that took place?
Clinton.
Oh, yeah. No,
Just in case you weren't there. Clinton.
I'm being facetious here.
And we hollowed out, and we allowed it in the pursuit of cheap goods. But we gave up opportunities for jobs. We gave up opportunity for wage advancement. We gave up opportunities for our young people. And when we hollowed out our manufacturing. So that's really a piece of affordability is our wages and our job opportunities have not kept pace with inflation. The other piece is inflation, which was double digit under Biden. Trump has promised to bring it down. We're down to 2, goal is 2%. Inflation, it's come down quite a bit, but we still have to get our wages up to where inflation is. Housing, I just was reading this week, the median price for a house in New Hampshire, $580.
It's insane. I bought my house in 2017, so 9 years.
Yeah.
In a span of 9 years, it's tripled in value. Tripled.
Which means your assessment.
But is it really tripled in value?
Not until you sell it, right?
No, but that's the thing, right? And I'm being assessed on it, and so every year my property tax is going up by $1,000 a year, and that doesn't sound like much if you spread it out over a 12-month payment, but that's a lot if it keeps going like that, and it's especially a lot for those of us who aren't working anymore. I.e., when I say us, I mean
fixed income.
Fixed income folks. I mean folks that are retired and I'm looking at that, right? You can see the gray in my beard. I'm getting to that point where I'm going to be in that position where I can't afford for my taxes to keep going up on a house that I supposedly own.
A woman who works with me at Novel, she's a couple years older and she's thinking, about retiring. She goes, I can't retire. She goes, if I retire, I have to sell my home. But there is no place cheaper, because she can't afford the taxes, but there's no place cheaper because rents are so high. Rents are unbelievably high.
Right, I can't sell my house and rent somewhere because that's going to be higher than my mortgage payment. Right? I can't retire and expect my my expenses to stay the same if my property taxes keep going up.
Utility, the energy, the electric, food.
And all of that can be controlled or at least influenced from Washington. I mean, we've even had Trump saying not too long ago, what did he say? Something to the effect of you don't really own your house if they can keep raising your taxes or something like that.
That's right.
So we've got a little bit of inkling of a push, from Trump and even from Florida saying, DeSantis saying, this whole property tax thing on something that you supposedly own is something that maybe we need to rethink.
Right. And there are no real quick fixes, but what we need to really look at is infrastructure. That's my thought of this. We put in infrastructure. One, if we can get the cost of energy down, now we may be, selling oil, but we can't refine our own oil. We haven't upgraded our refineries since the 70s. And our refineries don't refine the cleaner, lighter grade oil that we mine or drill. So we have to import some of the Venezuelan oil or dirtier oil, heavy oil, mix it so that we can refine our own oil. We need to decrease the regulation and increase the permitting of refineries and infrastructure so that we can be more energy independent here with our own oil, which will bring down the cost of housing in the fact that transportation costs will be down, manufacturing costs. I mean, you look at oil, which is used, petroleum is used in the siding of the house, the window frames of the house.
Everything.
Everything.
I don't think there's a single product in this studio, in our cars, that doesn't contain oil.
Right, so if we can get the price of oil down, if we can increase the speed of permitting and decrease the regulation, that will help. The other thing is if we can put in infrastructure in our state, roads, bridges, telecommunication, water, sewer.
How about energy? I mean, we have
Yep.
a nuclear power plant that we can
When
do
you,
something
when you
with.
want to do nuclear, you still have to build out the electrical grid. Again, infrastructure. If we can put all this in place, communities can decide to build. There was a rep up in Plymouth who told me they had a development that had permits for 600 units, but they couldn't get the energy up there. Laconia had the similar issue. So we need to be able to get energy up there. That's building out the electrical grid. Let's build out all the infrastructure.
So how do we do that? Because that reminds me of the Northern Pass fiasco not too long ago.
So-
We have neighborhoods and towns are saying, no, not through my town, but then they're complaining that they're not getting energy up there, right? How do we build out that grid?
So part of it is the fact that Pappas, who, would you say, 8 years in Congress, sits on transportation infrastructure. We've gotten nothing from him. We're the last.
Oh, we don't. We've said this before. We don't get anything from him.
Right.
We don't hear anything from him until it's time to campaign.
Right. So if we can get money back to the state for infrastructure spending, let's put that in, and that will help. But, when you're putting in an electrical grid, now they have they have different options, whether it's the wires above or it's underground where they can do the vertical drilling. There are options, but we need to be able to put in electrical grid. Otherwise, we can't grow manufacturing, we can't grow housing.
We need to get around the regulation thing, and we as conservatives saw this coming 30 years ago, 40 years ago, even before that, right? Reagan was all about deregulation in every aspect, but this regulation, the OSHA, EPA, not that these entities don't have a place to keep industry safe and clean, but they also stifle the innovation and the building. Like you were
Congress
talking
has
about,
given them
was
too much
these
power.
refineries that we haven't upgraded since the 70s, and the big reason is all these refineries, I mean, they're all over Texas and whatnot. The refineries are there, but like you said, they haven't been upgraded. And they can't be upgraded without the permitting and the EPA and the oversight. And there's just, everybody's got their hands in it. How do we streamline that but still make it safe?
We take back some of the power that Congress has abdicated to these organizations, the EPA and such. They have too much power to instill or to impose these regulations, and we need to take that back.
Like the thing back in the 90s, Kmart, or somebody wasn't able to build a house because it was the breeding ground of a particular spotted owl. But a half mile away, that same spotted owl was nesting inside of a Kmart sign. Right? Like,
Well, look what happened in California.
But that we're putting value on those types of things above the value of human lives and human progress.
Right. And there can be a balance, right?
Right.
But we have to be able to deregulate and stop imposing so much red tape that we are unable to meet the basic needs of housing, good jobs, energy. Right.
And when you do that, when you deregulate and the builder does not have to jump through all that red tape to build on this spot of land, it's going to cost him less to do so.
Right.
less permitting, less permitting.
And the time frame. So the state has been good about imposing time limits. So you have X amount, I forget if it's 6 months or something, that they have to get a response from the different committees to get the permits. They can't be pulled around for
And what
years.
if,
Because
and
that
what's the
causes.
penalty for the if they don't
I believe,
respond?
and I haven't looked at the bill, I believe
the builder's got
it's an
carte
automatic,
blanche
it goes
and go?
through. I believe it does, but I would have to double check that.
Now, that's a double-edged sword, because the bureaucrats and the local permitters can just stall it. So I got 6 months to do it. Now, I can go through this stack of 10 sheets of paper in 3 hours, but I can just, if I don't like the project, I can just.
I don't know if it's 6 months, 6 weeks.
But
there
you
is
see
a
what I'm
time frame,
saying?
yeah.
So I can just
that's
stall the
fast.
whole thing on purpose by just not looking at it and waiting until the last minute, right? I mean, it's a
But that-
double-edged, putting a time limit on there, yes.
Yes, but if they have historically been taking longer,
Mhm.
it is a benefit. Because time is money. For a builder to sit on a piece of land and pay taxes and have to go through all the regulations to get the permits and the testing, then that's time is money. And interest rates went up and material costs go up. So if they can turn that over faster and reinvest, it's quicker.
And that cost is, or that savings is passed on to the consumer, ending in lower rents and
Right.
lower mortgages.
And then the profits that he get, hopefully they invest in another project.
So do you think we know how inflation works. Do you think we can ever get to the point where it comes down?
Deflation?
Or are we looking at, a two-bedroom apartment being $2,500 a month or more for the rest of our lives?
So I'm
That-
old
I
enough
mean,
to remember
because-
the 80s when we did have, the bust. And so I was living in a condo in the seacoast, and everybody was stuck because they were underwater in the condo because of the price. That's not good either. What we have to do is bring people up. We have to bring up opportunities for wage growth. We have to bring up good jobs, good blue-collar jobs. But we have to be able to grow manufacturing here in this country and in this state.
Right, so the answer is always going to be to raise wages, right?
Well-
And get people to be able to earn more to afford these things, but keep these things from going up
too
with
high.
the
Right,
wages.
because what happened was the cost of everything went up under Biden, double digit, but wages didn't. So now wages are coming up. This isn't going up as fast. We hopefully will catch up and be able to afford a decent living. But we have to build our way out of this. We have to.
But we can't regulate our way out of it. We can't dictate that minimum wage goes up to $20 an hour.
No.
We can't do that.
Capitalism wins and works when it's allowed to regulate itself, not be imposed. When we don't pick winners and losers and we don't hand tie it. Let it be.
Okay.
Free markets, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. Tell us about, what was it, the act,
The Jones Act.
the Jones Act?
I'm a mind reader. So the Jones Act was started in the 20s to protect our shipbuilding, 1920s, not the 2020s, to protect our shipbuilding. And it said that you have to have a domestic ship to go from a domestic port to a domestic port. And President Trump was aware that our shipbuilding needed to be protected because right now, for every ship we build, China's building 230 some odd ships. I think it's 236, but it's 230
I don't know
plus
why
ships.
we don't know how to build ships anymore.
We used to, but yeah, like everything else, we've
Yep.
allowed foreign competition to destroy our markets. So what we were finding is we couldn't buy our own domestic energy because we don't have a domestic ship that can transport energy. So we were getting foreign natural gas. So now we have a exemption for energy that we can transport energy from one domestic port to another domestic port on a foreign-made ship. And that will help bring down energy costs. He did do it for initially for 60 days, but the war in Iran broke out, the demand in China went up, we didn't see relief.
So we're talking about oil tankers.
Oil tankers, natural gas.
Now, wait a minute. I served on an oil tanker in
Where was the ship made?
1992.
What was it flagged?
I believe it was American flagged. We hauled gasoline from Houston to New York, Florida, Rhode Island. This is 1992, though.
Yeah, but it would have been in place, the Jones Act would have been in place.
So.
I wonder where that ship was made then.
Oh, that ship is no longer in service, but it was the SS King with American Heavy Lift was the name of the
Yeah.
corporation. So we were an American company. I don't know
American
if the-
company.
I don't know if the ship was made in the United States.
That's the piece.
Oh, so the ship was built elsewhere, even though it was American flagged?
Well, it's American-owned company. But, yeah.
All right.
So what else would you like to do?
So we've extended the exemption.
Yes.
So that we can have
Energy
energy
transported
transported
from domestic port to domestic port.
domestic to domestic. Okay,
Right.
all right. Tell
We-
us,
I was going to say, so as far as the pipelines you were talking about, that comes under interstate commerce, and our federal delegation has not advocated to get that natural gas pipeline across New York or Massachusetts. We need to have a federal delegation advocate for that. Our federal delegation advocate for that.
so how is, if we get our delegation to advocate for it, we still have to go through Vermont,
Right?
kind of owned by Bernie over there, right? So how do we negotiate that?
We'd have to be able to, on a federal level, say that this is national security, right? Energy is national security.
Well, this is one of
And it
those.
should come under,
This is one of those rare situations where eminent domain should take
Mhm.
precedence, right? Not, plow through people's land, but
Right.
it should be used because it is infrastructure.
it is
That's exactly
infrastructure,
what
and
that-
it's national security to have energy. So.
What do you think about what's going on in the Middle East?
So, I think we were right to go into Iran, because they had been chanting death to America, death to Israel for
50
40,
years?
yeah,
More
47,
than 50
49,
years.
yeah. And they've killed 1,000 of our soldiers and wounded how many more? And I thought we should have gone in. But I think we should have gone in and finished the job. This is a regime that lives under a different paradigm than we do. Their value of life is different than ours. And it's a religious cult, right? So they see the world completely different than we do. And the minute that we backed off to negotiate, they saw that as a sign of weakness. And now I'm afraid it's going to take a lot more.
We're in that cycle again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we get into these cycles, these I don't want to call it nation building, because we don't want to do that either. But we get into these cycles with these conflicts, and they drag us down, and we don't learn our lesson, and that is the lesson. There are certain regimes that you cannot be negotiated with. They need to be removed. But the media comes in and spends a lot of time saying, "Oh, we don't want to. It's not up to us," right? And it becomes I don't know. It becomes more of a marketing
Right.
issue, and so you end up having to back off so that you don't get bad press and whatnot.
But we
And-
needed to go in and just get the job done. No nuclear weapons for Iran. We know what they would do
Oh, they would use
They
it
would-
the
in a
instant it was
heartbeat.
ready.
in a heartbeat. So we have to do that. And now we just have to finish the job, but it's going to be messy.
I don't understand why we have a strait over there that's, less than 10 miles wide? That for some reason we can't get control of, over? This is international waters. Now, I realize that international waters, the standard rule is 12 miles. right? But this is a choke point that is exempt from that 12 mile. So neither side of that channel can claim the entire channel. So
They each claim
why
a
is
half.
the
Now they're
United
having a
States Navy, why is the
negotiation.
biggest, baddest Navy the world has ever seen having trouble with this one channel, keeping it open?
Well, they've mined it, right? And they have these little boats that go out, and now the drone warfare. And it's just that the value of life is so different there that they can go out in these small boats, small drones, whatever, and just really take a hit at us and at other ships. And it is just that it's a very different paradigm. They don't see the world the way we do. They don't see life the way we do. And like you said, there's no negotiating. Because their goal is to eliminate our culture.
So I don't want to go too far down this hole, but
I'll hold on as we go down that rabbit hole.
I remember the 70s. I remember the revolution over there. What would be the alternative here? We get rid of the Ayatollahs. Do we go back to the Shahs? Because that's not that much of a
So under the Shah, the women were allowed to be educated. They were
exactly.
modern.
There were a modern society over there.
Right. We shouldn't dictate how each country runs its country, but the human toll under this regime, the massive numbers of people that they kill, we shouldn't go in and do a regime change, but we need to make sure, one, they don't have a nuclear weapon, and one, that they are unable to foment violence and have proxies. So if we go in and take that out, allow the people of Iran to rise up and do what they need to do. It's on them.
We thought it was happening a couple of times over this, but
I know. Well,
then
they thought it was happening too, but they never
Right.
got the weapons.
And then the crackdown comes, and hundreds, if not thousands more, are executed in the streets. And this is still happening, and our media ignores it.
Yes.
And because it's ignored, it's essentially not happening, and there's no.
We put the blinders on.
Exactly. But you and I don't have those blinders on. We're angry about it. We want this to happen. We want this to be over with.
Just finish it.
Could we say the same thing to Israel about the Gaza Strip?
There's a big difference, and
Because they have a problem there too.
to
right?
have them go finish it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, Israel would put down their weapons today, and there would be no Israel. If Hamas puts down their weapons, there'll be peace. But there is no peace. They had a tremendous amount of pressure too. Public world opinion weighed heavy on them.
Are we stifling peace and prosperity in the world by bowing to the public opinion of liberal media around the world?
Simple answer to that is yes. I don't agree with it, but yes, we are. They're the most vocal.
All right, so there's been a lot of debate lately, just because we're still on this subject, and I apologize.
It's okay.
You're very versed on the subject, and so I'm just throwing the ideas out there, right? I'm playing devil's advocate here. There's been a lot of back and forth lately, even amongst conservatives, about this Israel first. Is Israel using the United States? Is Netanyahu, does he have Trump in his hands? We've got a whole bunch of folks that are kind of arguing back and forth. We've always supported Israel. We always should support Israel, but how much is too much? Mm-hmm. We've got these agreements that are going into place where Israel is kind of getting a foothold in American military control over there and agreements that kind of allow Israel to dictate certain things that are taking place over there. Are we going too far there? And so there's starting to be a little bit of a rift, even in the conservative party down in Washington, about how much do we really support Israel, and are we going to continue to provide them with intelligence and munitions if they don't finish the job, or are we going to continue to provide it for Libya, or not Libya, Lebanon and Syria, and for those incursions? How much support do we owe Israel, and how much do they owe us in return?
Israel is our only democratic ally in the area. Right? And I think that we need to have a strong alliance with them. And I believe that President Trump, over the two terms, has done a really nice job at starting to change the geopolitical environment over in the Middle East with the peace accords.
Yeah.
And I think that will help move it. Israel, the size of what, Rhode Island or something? It's very tiny. And yet it was surrounded by all its foe who wanted to see it taken out. I think we need to secure Israel, not pay for it, not put boots on the ground, but we can work hand in hand cooperatively and share intelligence and allow them to buy equipment. But we need to be able to support our allies around the world who support us, and they give us a tremendous amount of intelligence and response.
Oh, I agree with you. I'm 100% on board. I'm just asking if you see this rift that's
I
starting
see
to
it.
take
I'm
place.
Jewish. I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it.
So I just feel like it hasn't been this way in a long time, but I feel in the last 2 years since the October 7th, I feel like there's a degradation of U.S. support for Israel.
So I think that goes back to what you were saying, though, earlier about the liberal media worldwide is causing this pressure. And I think a lot of that divide is being sown by outside influences, outside the U.S., dark money that is trying to divide this country politically and religiously.
You don't think some of that's coming from internal, like the Soros stuff?
Yeah. Some of it internally, but I think there's this world movement that is trying to divide us so we are weaker, so we can be taken over.
Come to its senses and realize that this turning the other eye to what Islam does to the rest of the world and the rest of the religions of the world. What is it going to take? We had this issue in Spain recently with all the migrants storming over their border. Now
they want borders.
Exactly. What's it going to take for folks to understand this? The only people who understand this are the people who are on the borders.
Right.
The farmers on the border in Texas, they're the ones who understand how big this problem is.
Or if you're on Martha's Vineyard and they put immigrants out, they say, not my backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're still touting this mightier than thou attitude after they've deported them off of their island.
Right.
What's it going to take for the media, for the world to wake up to what's going on?
I don't think the media is going to help the world wake up. I think they are part of the problem, not you. But the media is being fed this divisive worldview because the forces around, internal and external, I think a lot of it is external. I think a lot of the messaging comes from China. They want us divided. A divided country is so much easier to take over. I was talking to some people today who had worked in D.C. on security for infrastructure, and just the messaging alone that they're concerned about the messaging that is affecting not only our education, our kitchen table, and how we see things, so that we become so divided that it's very easy for a third country to come in or a second country to come in and,
How are we allowing, I apologize, we're not talking about your campaign.
it's okay, this is my campaign,
But I
right?
absolutely
Yeah.
love, how do we get past this business of our media ignoring certain things? There's a lot of things that take place that if it was the headline on tonight's news, even the most liberal of Democrats would go, whoa, wait a minute, did that just happen in my country?
Right.
Right? So last week, there was a Chinese cyber attack. No, maybe it wasn't Chinese. There was a cyber attack, I don't know, on our water system,
There was 7 states,
right? Did anybody hear about that in mainstream media?
Probably not.
And why not?
Right.
Why isn't that a headline? Wait a minute, some other foreign nation, foreign entity, foreign power is trying to sabotage our water supply as we speak. Now, about 3 or 4 months ago, I bookmarked an article. I'm not going to waste time pulling it up but I don't remember which state. I think it was Louisiana. They were doing some maintenance work on a dam, and the divers went down. They found an IED underwater on a major dam in Louisiana. That didn't show up anywhere. IEDs on a main reservoir dam, and now a cyber attack on the electronic control systems that control our water supply. If these were headlines on ABC, NBC, MSNBC, even the Democrats would wake up to this.
But they don't want to wake them up.
But who's suppressing that, and why we have why is Nick Shirley being suppressed? Why is California writing laws that say that if you're not part of the mainstream media, you're not allowed to investigate fraud? Why are we allowing this suppression to take place? How do we get through it? Somebody has got to wake up and say, wait a minute, we can't allow that to happen.
And it's got to start in D.C., but we have to have people go to Congress and have I'm going to say hearings, but that pisses me off. Am I allowed to say that on TV? Because we have hearing after hearing after hearing with no
nothing
repercussions.
happens. Like what's happened to Fauci? We found another email, a text message yesterday, where in 2020, Fauci admitted to his coworkers and colleagues that COVID shot number 2 may cause clotting and miscarriages for pregnant women in their first trimester. So he admitted to himself and amongst his own Mr. Science colleagues that the clot shot was real. The fact that we call it the clot shot is considered misinformation.
And he still
I've
made
had
it
several
mandatory.
of my episodes removed from YouTube for misinformation, for calling it a clot shot, for calling out COVID-19 for what it was, a big scam. And now we're finding out that he not only knew it, he misrepresented it. He
lied.
He outright lied. And then he lied to Congress, and now he lied to Congress again last week or the week before, whenever it was. Why isn't he in jail?
I think some of the states
Like you said,
looking.
these hearings, we have hearings.
Nothing
So
comes
what?
of it. Nothing.
He gets slapped on
It's
the
a
wrist.
waste of taxpayer dollars. It's a waste of legislators' time. If you're not going to do something, then stop. But we need to know, because we're still funding research on gain of function all over the world in different
We're still
plants.
funding gain of function in the
In
Wuhan lab.
Right.
Why is American money making it there? Where's it coming from? Why isn't a Republican president and a Republican Congress stopping it?
Right. I agree with you. I'm on your side.
I don't have the answer. It's incredibly
Sorry.
frustrating, which is why I will never run for office, because I'll get into it and I'll realize that
It's so deep. It's so
it's
deep.
incredible.
Yeah.
What's going to keep you from getting sucked into that deep?
Because I am always going to be based in New Hampshire. I am not going to move to D.C. I have no desire to be there. except for to be there to represent New Hampshire. I am asking to go to represent New Hampshire in DC, not DC in New Hampshire. So I will go do my job and come home. I will find my cohort group of like-minded, because there are people who are like-minded like us. And I will work with them, because I don't know, years and years and years ago, do you remember you're younger than I am, remember the TV show The Big Valley?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There was a line in there that I have always lived by. And there was a piece where one of the small little ranchers was being bullied by the crowds in the town. And I always remember the line was, where there's one, there is a majority of one. And if I speak up, I will always continue to speak up. And I will speak up until I can't talk anymore. Because we have a right to hear that. And if I speak up, maybe it'll give the next person courage to speak up. So that majority of one will become a little bit louder and a little bit louder.
We need that to happen amongst like-minded conservatives. Because I know there's a lot of good people that get voted into office and they go down there and then they get sucked into, right, the fundraising and the dinners and,
Yeah.
you know, they get sucked into the Washington insider lifestyle. And outwardly, their morals are still there. They're you know, but they get sucked into it, and sometimes you get sucked in too far. But you're right. There's a lot of these like-minded folks that we need more of them, right? And we need to kind of get the lifers to come back over to.
We need to have term limits, much shorter than what they're offering. We need to get rid of the benefits. We need to really. We need to clean house.
And I know a lot of folks don't like the term rhino, but we have several of them in Congress. We don't have any from New Hampshire, fortunately, because we don't have any GOP representation down there. But we have several of them, and there's. You can probably name them. I'm not going to, but you know exactly who I'm talking about. There's 3 or 4 of them that we don't hear from unless the vote is right down to the line.
Right.
Then they hold out. Are they holding out for the media attention? Are they holding out because they want more lobbyists to come to them with more money? What's going on with this, and why are they continually getting reelected?
I don't know why they're holding out, but there is a couple of
feels
possibilities.
It feels like they're doing it for the attention.
Are they doing it for the attention? Are they doing it for the earmarks that they can bring back? Are they doing it because they're told that they can, at the end, by leadership, all right, we don't need you on this vote, you can go on that vote? I think there are multiple reasons why they hold out, and then, you know, I know it's like Maine and Alaska a lot. And they'll say, well, I live in a purple state, and I have to walk the line. But you have to go with your conscience, right? You are a Republican.
I get
What's
that,
your moral
but
compass?
It seems like their conscience is on the wrong side every single time something really big comes up, such as a nomination
Or the SAVE
or
Act?
the SAVE Act. Right? Like how can you attribute every single time it's the most important thing to the conservative platform, and every single time on the most important product, you're on the other side, or you're holding out.
And it's important to the majority of the country.
How is the SAVE Act in any way controversial to either side? Right? You cannot have non-citizens voting in our election. I want to go to these people and say, when was the last time you voted in a French election?
Right.
Well, I'm not in France. I'm not a French citizen. Exactly.
And you can't just leave it with voter ID.
You can't just go on vacation and vote in some other country's election. Right?
Or pop out
They're going to stop you. So why is that not okay to enforce that rule here in the United States? Well, it is okay. Why don't you want to make sure that that is the case?
And I would argue that even the majority of Democrats want that, want to have voter ID, voter only citizens. It's the leadership, it's the party, because they don't want to lose control. It's not the
And that is the key, and that is something that I've always said. What's happening here is when you see the Democrat Party advocating for these absurd positions, that's when the light needs to go off in your head. That is so absurd. Why is it so absurd? It's because power.
And
that's what socialism is. That's what democratic socialism is. That's what the DSA is. It is about power.
They control the source of manufacturing. They can control everything, your housing, your everything. And the on the grounds, the normal Democrat has to wake up and realize that this is what's happening to the party.
They've got to realize it, and they've got to get past the fact that the mainstream media wants you to forget what's going on. You can go online and you can look them up. You can look up videos of Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Al Gore, Barack Obama. You can look up a video of every single one of them pounding their fist saying, we need to close the border. Mm-hmm. We need to make sure our elections are safe and that only American citizens vote. Every single one of them has said so in a campaign speech in an effort to get into power.
Right.
And once they're in power, so they will say whatever they can, however they need to, in order to get elected and get power. And then they'll say whatever they can to keep power. And that's what the Save America Act is about.
Right.
It's about them controlling power.
Mm-hmm. And power over their own party.
They want to be able to say that this many hundreds of thousands of people are registered Democrats
right.
on the voter rolls.
As long as you have an ID, and a lot of these sanctuary states will give out a driver's license to an illegal, so they have an ID. They don't even need.
We don't have that much time, but yeah, the truck drivers, the commercial driver's license that New York and California are passing out.
Right. They just passed here that you could get your CDL license in New Hampshire in 7 languages. They were coming over the border from Massachusetts to get their CDLs here.
It doesn't make any sense. No. It doesn't make any sense because every street sign in the country is in English. Right. You need to be able to read and understand and speak English in order to drive on American roads, period.
And when you get those dynamic signs that change, like detour to the left or the electronic signs,
there's not a single American citizen, there's not a single Democrat, liberal in this country who is traveling to Syria or France or Spain and demanding that all of their street signs be in English. Right. It's not the way the world works, but yet they'll put up with it here. Right. Anyway, we started on the Save America Act. We could go on forever. It's about it's the perfect name for it, Save America, because every one of these issues is about something that Democrats only want for the United States. They only want this insecurity in the United States, and they're perfectly fine with every other country in the world enforcing these same rules that they don't want imposed here. So, we've got 4 or 5 minutes left.
Oh, that went quick.
I wanted to, I think that's what the clock says. Yeah. I want to change it up. I want to talk about New Hampshire.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of stuff recreational this summer, all of it in New Hampshire. I've been doing a lot of flying.
What kind of flying?
I'm a private pilot.
Oh, what do you have?
I have a Cessna 182.
Okay.
I fly it out of Nashua. Beautiful New England. I've been doing a lot of New England flying. I did a lot of motorcycle. July 4th, I took a motorcycle trip up above the Notch to a camp, a family camp, and took pictures and videos going up through the mountains and then down through Vermont and back across back in New Hampshire. And And this last weekend, I spent the entire weekend on a boat on Lake Winnipesaukee with family. Beautiful. You've been campaigning all over New Hampshire.
I know, I'm exhausted.
Tell me what you've seen and what you love about New Hampshire, and what are some of the places you've seen this summer? What have you been doing?
So
Let's talk about how great
and
New
Nicole
Hampshire
goes
is.
with me everywhere. So the best part of New Hampshire, the people. We have really wonderful people. I moved up to New Hampshire in 1989, I think it was, in the mid-'80s. And I remember being in the grocery store the first time I went to the grocery store, and somebody started to talk to me. I thought, oh my God, people talk to you here in New Hampshire. That's the best part of New Hampshire, are the people that you meet every day. They're good, hardworking, decent people, and I really appreciate that. We've been up to the Lakes region a lot. We've been spending a lot of time in the Wolfboro, Mountainboro area. I was up in Laconia today. I was up in Meredith today. It's just beautiful. You go from the mountains to the lake to the ocean, and it's just beautiful. And I do ride a motorcycle too.
Yeah.
I have gone cross country. I've gone coast to coast to coast by myself solo.
Someday I'll do that.
It's worth it.
Someday
We have
I'll
a
do
beautiful country.
Our-
But there's no place like home, as Dorothy says.
Yeah, especially on a motorcycle. So I love the motorcycling because we've got such beautiful country up here to do motorcycling, and I've thought about the idea of having a part-time place like in Florida or whatnot. But
They're crazies down there on the road.
there's nothing to see on a motorcycle. New England is the best
Oh,
place
there goes
to.
an alligator, you could say.
New England is the best place to own a motorcycle. You know, the mountains, the
And
lakes,
the best part is the
coastline.
smell. Plants as you
So-
go by. Not the bad smells, the good smells.
So here, I got something for you when you do get elected. We'll make this a national thing. Our previous host, Gary Hopper, who passed away a few years ago and left me the reins, he was a motorcyclist too. In fact, he was one of my motorcycle mentors. When I first met him, I didn't have a motorcycle. Right? I didn't even have a license. So I did a lot of riding with Gary. And just a few months before he did pass, he did his own solo cross country to visit family in California. And he had a GoPro and he recorded it, and we played some of that as a tribute to him after he passed. But he was a state rep for 20 years, and he always wanted to pass. He was tongue-in-cheek. He always wanted to pass a New Hampshire state law that said, if you're motorcycling down the road and you smell a good barbecue as you go by, the law should say that a motorcyclist should be able to stop and crash your barbecue, right? Because it smells so good.
You smell everything. I love it when the lilacs are blooming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I just
Yeah.
love that.
I don't like it when I go by the pig farm. I won't say where the pig farm is, but I don't like that smell.
No. I love the smell of cows, though. I have to tell you, when you go by a farm and the cows are out, I do like that.
But you do
And
get
horses
to,
are very curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, you do get to smell a lot when you're on a motorcycle. Gary always wanted to stop at every barbecue we passed. You could smell somebody cooking a burger or a dog or something.
So when I went across country, there was a young man on, he had some sort of crotch rocket that he was going across on. And we would end up at the same rest stops every now and then. It's like, so we became talking every now and then, and shared maps, because I didn't do it by GPS, I did it by map. And you do meet really wonderful people in this whole country.
Yeah.
The other place that we have gone in New Hampshire that have been interesting to see, we've been hitting the dumps. The
You haven't been
transfer
kicked out?
stations. One of them we were.
I got kicked out of a transfer station when I was campaigning one time. I was like, it's a dump.
I know. One of them we weren't allowed in.
This is a place everybody comes on Saturday. That's too
But some
bad.
of them have been wonderful. We spent a long time in Greenland. We were over in Epping. Epping was really nice, and we're going to go over to Candia. So we're doing our trash talk tour.
Oh, that's a good name for it.
It is.
Has any other candidate in the country ever espoused the dump scene?
Yeah. It's where all Americans go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, 3.5 weeks?
3.5 weeks.
What do you got planned?
Oh, my
where should-
goodness,
Where
we're
should people
everywhere.
contact you, see you? What can people do to help? Obviously, get out and vote.
Please vote, and if you're a Democrat, vote often for me. But please check me out at holliefornewhampshire.com. That's all spelled out, Hollie, HOLLIE, for newhampshire.com. And we are everywhere. We are going to be in Merrimack and Londonderry. We have something going on in Meredith. Every day we're out and having events, so you can just IM me or Facebook through Facebook, and we'll let you know where we're going to be. And if you want a yard sign, absolutely. But talk about me. Even if you don't like me, talk about me. It gets my name out there. You know how they used to
I
say,
hate
you're
that.
nobody until your name's on the bathroom wall,
I'm
right?
not going to vote for that person. Yeah.
But people will go and look you up. So talk about me, talk about me, talk about me. And I would be honored to earn your vote. So thank you.
All right, Hollie.
And thank you for today. This was
Thanks.
a lot of fun. It
Thanks
flew.
for coming. Oh, it did fly by. Sometimes it flies, sometimes it doesn't. It's been a great show.
It's been a great show.
All right, thank you. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.